Hey everybody, I'm just shooting this quick video about a terrain piece that I've been working on. These are floating mountains inspired by the movie Avatar. I don't really care for the movie Avatar that much, but I thought the floating mountain thing was a pretty cool idea for like fantasy wargaming and that sort of stuff. And maybe even some 40K, because my local shop that I play at, I feel like everything's always on one level and there's not very many like higher terrain areas to go to. So I just want to kind of show you the progress on this piece of terrain and how I did it. So I start out with a big block of foam. So this is a big block of styrofoam, and I took a hot knife and cut the shapes into it. And then what I did was I took a big old thing of white Elmer's glue and then mixed it up here, and then did a big huge coat of it all over the entire thing. Now, usually you want to do a couple coats to kind of seal the foam. And you got to seal this foam because otherwise when you spray paint it, you're going to get this crackly texture on it, which is fine if that's what you want to go for. But the spray paint will melt your foam, so you want to coat it if you want to be spray painting it later. So the bases, I took a piece of plywood. This is some furniture grade plywood, so it's really heavy and thick. And I sanded it, and I wanted to make sure that in order for it to blend into the battlefield that you got these little ridges kind of carved in here, and that kind of gives this kind of layered effect, which makes it look, kind of makes it look like it blends into your scenery a little bit better instead of just like a big, block of wood or like a plaque. So if you kind of do these uneven shapes, it'll help blend it. And then what I did was I drilled a hole and I added this fiberglass rod. And you can use any kind of rod like a wood dowel or whatever, but I had a bunch of extra fiberglass rods from some other things that I was working on. So I was able to just kind of drill it in there, glue it in to try to make it sturdy. Now this, I need to sturdy this up. This is just held on by wire. This is like floral wire, so I need to probably put a stick in there just to kind of solidify it to keep your models from falling off. And then I textured it with kitty litter and sand and just several grades of sand mixed with the white glue. And then when I paint it, that's going to texture really nicely, and then I can dry brush it. Now all this white stuff here, this is actually toilet paper and paper towels that's dipped in the white glue and kind of machéed on here, kind of like a paper mache. And when I dip it, I kind of sculpt it and shape it and stick it on. Now to get some of these longer pieces, I had some extra needles here, and I just glued the needle into place into the foam to kind of help hold it into place for like these big ropey things, because these were pretty heavy and they were falling off. So putting the ropey pieces on with the pen and then lots of glue really helped. And I also added some pieces of wire here to kind of help support this a little bit more. I'm hoping the wiggle will come out of there once all that glue dries, because it will take a long time for this to dry. So I'm gonna put this stuff out in the sun right now to kind of help it dry. I did all this last night. I kind of helped it along. And then this one is almost done. The top part's done. It's just the base I added later. So I gotta paint the base up. But the top turned out pretty good. So these are just plastic palm trees. And this is some green flocking that I got at my local game store. There's some more plastic palm trees. This is actual moss from here in Oregon, but I pulled off some trees. We got some of these ferns. You want to find plastic plants that have a good texture that looks close to the scale that you want. These little ropes here are like I found these in the wedding floral section. I have these little pieces of white foam kind of glued on them. And you want to just layer on the green as much as you can to add a lot of depth. And then in here I did some dark browns, a little bit of orange spray paint in there. And most of this paint was just spray painted on there. I used camouflage paint from Walmart, It's just the standard green, brown, and black. And I spray painted that on in layers. And one really good thing about this one that helps it hold in place is I did 3 fiberglass rods. And this is pretty sturdy. You're not going to really knock your stuff off here when you bump this. Like, it wiggles a little bit, but your miniatures probably aren't going to fall unless they're like Tyranid gargoyles or something. Now, these trees were really cool. I found this at the craft store. These are just some interesting little palm trees, but they're on wire, so you can like bend them and do a lot of really cool stuff with them, which I really like. So this is the start of my jungle terrain that I'll be making. So I'm gonna have these little floating mountains, and then I'll have a ton of terrain on the ground that'll match up with that. So this base here is gonna get a platform added to it. That's gonna get all painted up. This one's gonna have 3 platforms, so one more platform is gonna go on here. And again, all 3 of these are gonna match a lot better. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this work in progress. I'll post another video when everything's done. I'm also gonna post progress pictures on my Instagram for AVP Wargamer. And hopefully in the future, we'll do some battle reports on some strange planet with low gravity that makes the mountains float. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.